Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are taking a look at, well, one of cinema's truly singular presences. A man whose face just suggests he's constantly disappointed in all of us.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, born back in 1946. He's 79 now. And his career is just a study in these magnificent contradictions.
His screen presence is so commanding. I mean, you think Tommy Lee Jones, you instantly get that gruff, authoritative guy.
Yep.
The man who will track you to the ends of the earth, U.S. Marshal Samuel Gerard in The Fugitive.
Or Agent K in Men in Black. He just has absolutely no time for nonsense.
None. And that persona, I mean, it's earned him everything. An Academy Award, a Golden Globe, a Primetime Emmy, 2 SAG Awards. He is the definition of high achievement.
He really is. But the material we've gathered for you today, it reveals this incredible duality just beneath that stern exterior.
You'd assume a guy who plays grizzled lawman has a background forged in, grit and oil fields, and, well, that's partly true.
Only partly.
But the trajectory of his early life just throws that entire Hollywood stereotype into this really delightful chaos.
And that's our mission today. We're going beyond the badge and beyond the MIB sunglasses to understand the whole man.
Yeah.
We're tracing his story from a Texas childhood straight to an Ivy League education and then to global fame.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So he was born in San Saba, Texas, grew up mostly in Midland, and his background is genuinely rugged. His father, Clyde C. Jones, was a cowboy and an oil field worker.
Right. And his mother, Lucille Marie, was a police officer, a teacher, and a beauty shop owner.
And there was some family instability there, too. His parents married and divorced twice. He also has Cherokee descent. It's a complex picture.
That is the foundation of the man we see on screen, for sure. But then the story just takes this sharp left turn toward the elite. He earns a scholarship to St. Mark's School of Texas.
A very prestigious school.
Very. And from there, in 1965, he heads to Harvard College, again on need-based aid. And this is not the standard resume for your hard-beaten cinematic cowboy.
Not at all. And he didn't just attend, he excelled. He graduated cum laude in 1969 with a BA in English literature. But it's what he studied that really gets me.
This is what's so fascinating, the contrast, the rugged Texas image against this hyper-focused academic background. I mean, his senior thesis wasn't just some general paper.
No.
It was a dense analysis on the mechanics of Catholicism in the works of Flannery O'Connor.
Flannery O'Connor. That is miles away from the action roles he's famous for. And while he's deep in theological frameworks in Dunster House, his roommate is
Al Gore.
Future Vice President Al Gore, and another guy, Bob Summerby. It's just hard to imagine a more historically charged dorm room.
And at the same time, he wasn't just an intellectual. He was a physical force on campus. He was a starting guard for the Harvard Crimson football team.
First team All-Ivy League in '68. Key part of that undefeated '68 team.
The team that, of course, was part of one of the most famous games in college sports history.
The legendary 29-29 tie against Yale. He was in the trenches for that. He even recounts it in the documentary Harvard beats Yale 29-29.
So you have the literature scholar, the dedicated athlete, and the Texas native all in one person. You can already see that intense focus, that drive.
Exactly. He applies the same commitment to everything. Whether it's dense literature or blocking a defensive tackle, it's all in.
So after graduating, he doesn't go back to Texas. He moves straight to New York City.
Right, to pursue acting. And he lands his Broadway debut that same year, 1969, in a play called A Patriot for Me.
And his film debut is just perfectly tied to his Harvard roots. His first role, in 1970, he's playing a Harvard student in Love Story.
And the connection is even deeper. The author, Eric Segal, actually based the main character, Oliver, on aspects of Jones and his roommate.
On him and Al Gore, the academic world literally paved his way into Hollywood.
From there, he did a 4-year stint on the soap opera One Life to Live, Dr. Mark Toland. But it's pretty clear he was destined for more intense stuff.
Well, and what's important for you to realize is that he was getting major critical success way before his blockbuster era. He got his first Golden Globe nomination in 1980.
For playing Doolittle Mooney Lynn, Loretta Lynn's husband, in Coal Miner's Daughter.
But TV, that's where his dramatic intensity was first really recognized. He won a Primetime Emmy in 1982.
For playing the executed murderer Gary Gilmore in The Executioner Song. A really visceral, challenging role.
That Emmy win, years before his Oscar, it proves the industry saw his dramatic chops early on. He wasn't just a leading man, he was a serious actor.
And he cemented that with another Emmy nod for playing Texas Ranger Woodrow F. Call in Lonesome Dove in '89.
Lonesome Dove, that really synthesized everything, didn't it?
It totally did. That blend of Texas grit and quiet, imposing authority, It was the perfect launchpad for the tough guy roles of the 90s. The audience was primed to see him as the ultimate lawman.
The one you can't run from.
And that's the role that delivered the Oscar. 1993, The Fugitive, U.S. Marshal Samuel Gerard. That performance became the blueprint for his next decade.
He won Best Supporting Actor for it, and it's just a masterclass in controlled intensity. He rarely yells, but his focus is terrifying.
And it wasn't his only brush with Oscar. He was nominated before that for JFK and then much later for Lincoln.
Right, for playing Thaddeus Stevens.
When he accepted the award for The Fugitive, he gave us this tiny glimpse of levity. His head was shaved for another movie, Cobb.
Oh.
And he just said, the only thing a man can say at a time like this is, I am not really bald. Actually, I'm lucky to be working. Just a quick, dry joke.
And after that, he became the industry standard for that kind of authority. The terrorist in Under Siege, Two-Face in Batman Forever.
And of course, the perfect deadpan straight man to Will Smith in Men in Black. He just projects gravitas no matter the genre.
It's interesting to watch him in that sci-fi stuff, even when he's fighting aliens. He keeps that same Western demeanor. He's still a cowboy.
He even got to be a literal cowboy in Space Cowboys, with Clint Eastwood.
The perfect synthesis, action star married to that deep Western sensibility. And that gravitas continued, especially with the Coen brothers.
No Country for Old Men in 2007. The world-weary Sheriff Ed Tom Bell. That role earned him another Oscar nomination.
That character, Sheriff Bell, somehow feels like the most authentic version of him. Observational, quiet, reflective.
And this brings us to a fascinating point, connecting that on-screen persona to his real life, because acting was often, secondary to his life back in Texas.
It's a remarkable juxtaposition. This high-achieving Hollywood star is, at his core, a serious man of the land.
Exactly. He started directing with a TV movie, The Good Old Boys, in '95. But his first big theatrical feature was The Three Burials of Melquiades Estrada.
In 2005, that film won him Best Actor at Cannes, a huge international achievement.
And his character in that movie speaks both English and Spanish, which Jones does in real life.
And if you look at his directing work, Three Burials, or the HBO adaptation of Cormac McCarthy's The Sunset Limited, these are deeply philosophical films.
So this is where we start to see that Harvard literature degree really influencing his art directly. He's tackling these weighty moral themes.
He's using the Hollywood framework to explore the kind of intellectual territory he first mapped out, studying Flannery O'Connor. Faith, despair, morality. And it's all coupled with this fierce dedication to his home.
You can feel it. He lives in Terrell Hills, Texas. He has a massive 3,000-acre cattle ranch in San Saba County. He owns another ranch near Van Horn.
The one he used as the set for Three Burials.
Yeah. His commitment to that rural Texas identity is completely authentic.
And tying right into that cowboy aesthetic is his passion for polo. He's a seriously avid player, supports the Polo Training Foundation. He even owns a house and a polo club in Buenos Aires.
So this isn't just a hobby. It's a whole lifestyle that connects right back to his Texas roots.
But while he has this fiercely private rancher persona, that intensity he applies to his art, it has sometimes spilled over into professional conflict.
Yeah, he has a reputation in Hollywood for being difficult, or at least for a kind of no-nonsense professionalism that doesn't suffer fools gladly.
Right. The most famous example is his intense dislike for Jim Carrey on the set of Batman Forever.
He just couldn't stand Carrey's manic, improvisational style. It seems like a total clash of acting philosophies.
The serious, intellectual actor versus the free-form, chaotic comedian.
And that intensity also extended to his business dealings. He sued his agency over pay for No Country for Old Men. He took Paramount to court over bonuses. He fights for what he believes he's owed.
It speaks to a man who holds boundaries very, very firmly, professionally and personally. I mean, despite being a global star, he is fiercely anti-digital. No verified social media accounts.
In a world where visibility is everything, he's chosen absolute privacy.
Almost stubborn privacy.
Now, before we get to the final and maybe strangest part of his career, we should respectfully address a recent piece of personal news. On January 1st of this year, 2026, his daughter, Victoria Jones, who was 34, was found dead in San Francisco.
Yeah. The cause was an apparent drug overdose. Court documents indicated she had struggled with drug and alcohol use. It's just a terrible tragedy.
It is. The family has requested privacy during this extremely difficult time, and we just want to note that and respect it.
Of course.
So moving to that final, great professional contradiction. How does this gruff, private, literary director become the face of Japanese comedy?
That is the ultimate twist. It proves the duality. Since 2006, he has starred in this huge series of TV commercials for Suntory's Boss Coffee.
He plays a character named Alien Jones.
Alien Jones, an extraterrestrial who takes human form to observe the quirky, often confusing world of human life in Japan.
It is genuinely surreal to watch the famously stern Tommy Lee Jones in these absurd, gentle, very funny comedic bits.
Yeah.
It just shatters the Agent K image.
If you connect this to the bigger picture, the Alien Jones role is so sharply contrasted with his cinematic persona that it allows this completely different side of him to emerge. It's almost whimsical self-parody.
It's like he's saying, I can be light as long as I'm playing someone literally disconnected from the seriousness of the human world.
Exactly. It's a stroke of genius, really.
So what does this all mean? We have the college intellectual, the star athlete, the committed director who became the definitive tough guy of his generation.
And yet he remains fiercely dedicated to his private ranching life, all while running this bizarre comedy empire as a space alien in Japan.
The key takeaways for you have to be that the man who plays Agent K is a Harvard cum laude English lit grad who wrote his thesis on Flannery O'Connor.
He was Al Gore's roommate. He won an Emmy for a serious dramatic role years before his Oscar. And his commitment to that ranching life is totally authentic, right down to his polo club in Argentina.
It's the intellectual depth that constantly informs the gruff performance.
It does, which leads to our final provocative thought. If his thesis was on the dense theology and moral ambiguity in Flannery O'Connor's work, and you think about his early stage roles, like playing in an adaptation of James Joyce's Ulysses,
Right.
how much does that academic pedigree influence his film choices today? Think about his directing. The Sunset Limited, The Three Burials, these aren't simple action movies. They're philosophical, moral works of literature on screen.
It encourages you to look past that gruff exterior and realize that beneath the badge, there is this extraordinary amount of intellectual weight. He's using his fame to tackle the complex questions he first started studying back at Harvard.
There's always more to the story.
That was the deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We'll
Right.
see you next time.